I'm going to talk about the nuclear weapons workers in the United States. Think of them really as a sort of broad industrial cohort. They happen to be the only group in the U.S. that gets general occupational medical screening in retirement, which is the period of time when they'd be at highest risk for occupational illness. Here's my disclosure. So in general, we believe occupation contributes significantly to lung cancer. It's an estimate of 10 to 15%. Much of that is in combination with cigarette smoking, because it's generally thought that for the occupational lung carcinogens, they work supra-additively with smoking to increase risk. And among the common exposures, the group 1, IARC group 1 carcinogens, I list them here: asbestos, silica, diesel exhaust, air pollution, chromium, et cetera. There are additional ones as well. Occupation is widely ignored in lung cancer screening programs, and certainly in the US, but elsewhere as well. It's absent from the recommendations in this country. It's also pretty much absent from the models that are currently being used in Europe, except for a single question, which is, were you exposed to asbestos, yes or no, which is not a terribly helpful question. And admittedly, part of the problem is that on the side of people like myself in occupational medicine, we have not done a good job at developing a tool that could be used as a metric for the purposes of eligibility for lung cancer screening, of efficiently gathering the information needed. So smoking is pretty easy. When did you start? When did you stop? On average, how much did you smoke? Family history is pretty easy, a single question. A personal history of cancer, yes. But when it comes to occupation, there are a number of things you want to know. And it's hard to boil them down to a limited number of questions that people really want to spend time getting that information. We are working on that to see if we can develop a more efficient way of identifying who's at occupational risk. I want to just spend a couple minutes describing our program. We started in the year 2000. We read Claudia and David's article in July 1999. We were running an occupational medical screening program for the nuclear weapons workers at that time. And when we read the article, we simply said we should add lung cancer screening because the people were responsible for, not only did many of them smoke, but also they were exposed to radiation, asbestos, silica, and the like in the nuclear weapons complex. And I show you a rather poor map of the United States in the upper right, showing just some of the places where we're active: Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Los Alamos, Sandia National Laboratory, the California labs, Idaho National Laboratory, the gaseous diffusion plants in Ohio and Kentucky, et cetera. And this is a blue-collar rural workforce. This is our scanner in Tennessee, in Oak Ridge, and I show this to really just demonstrate it embodies the partnership approach that we take. This is with the United Steelworkers and with another union, the Atomic Trade Labor Council. And we put our scanner in the parking lot of the Union Hall. That's where it is, because we wanted to send the message that this is your program, that it's not brought to you by, from on high, from the medical establishment. Yeah, sure, we're doctors, but this is a partnership between us and you. We try to bridge the gap with the community so that people would feel most comfortable in coming to the program. We also took a simplified approach to the occupational risk. All we did was identify job titles, broad categories of job titles, and duration of work. And these are the eligibility criteria we use. So our logic was simply, if USPSTF set a certain number of pack years, we would simply lower that by 10 pack years if they had the occupational risk. So we used similar age grouping. We're now at 10 pack years. We were at 20 pack years for a long time when in the US, USPSTF was recommending 30 pack years. So that's the sort of logic that we took. And we've screened 14,000 workers in the last 25 years, detected actually it's 240 primary lung cancers. And again, and 3/4 are early stage. And again, this is in Paducah, Kentucky and Oak Ridge, Tennessee. These are rural, non-metropolitan areas in which we reproduce really the same percentage early stage disease as in NLST. And I wanted to show you this because we looked at the last 10 years of our program. And this is the annual adherence. So just to explain this, each bar, it represents an annual scan. T1 is the first annual scan, and it goes to the right, T7, the seventh annual scan. And about 1,500 workers during this time period. And we got 90% to come back every year of the eligible people. Some people became ineligible. They died, they developed lung cancer, they became too sick to be in a screening program. But of the ones who were eligible, we succeeded in getting 90% back, which is almost actually the same as what was achieved in the randomized controlled trial. And people were rewarded, I think, rewarded for coming back. So I show here over grouped by the annual scan. So on the left, T0 is the baseline scan, and this is the yellow is the early stage cancers, blue are stage 3 and stage 4. The number of, and then I group the annual scans, T1 through T3, T4 through T6, and T7 through T9. And you can see that, I mean, obviously, the reason we do annual scanning is because people continue at risk, and we're going to continue to pick up lung cancers, and that's in fact what happened. What's sort of interesting is that the stage distribution may be evolving to somewhat more favorable in the later T scans. We don't have enough data from T7, T9 to really say that, but certainly the early stage distribution is certainly preserved throughout the 10-year period. So conclusion, screening occupational groups is highly feasible. It's fully acceptable to the at-risk population, as demonstrated by 90% adherence. We think that pointing out to people their non-smoking risks may be meaningful in getting them to enroll, adopt, and come back every year. That smokers have a complicated relationship to health, including former smokers, and that featuring not just smoking, but an additional risk of the, in our case, occupation, but it could be family history, could be personal history of cancer, et cetera, may be very meaningful in terms of the adherence that can be achieved. And then finally, we think that including occupation, which is not really done all that much, represents a more equitable approach to lung cancer screening. Thank you very much.